Hello, hello, my beautiful, beloved sisters, beautiful women of the world. Welcome. Welcome to my show, Your Radiant Life Over 45 or After 45. I have it in both. Yes, I have for mature women. And you also may know that this platform that I'm on is the world's only interactive, free live streaming network exclusively for women by women. So you can watch unlimited shows on topics that you care about. Learn from me and from other experts on the Win-Win Women TV platform, okay? And also, the first half hour of our shows is always like a presentation. But it's so important, so worthwhile to stay for the second half, because that's when you can not only ask questions, but also maybe get miniature coaching and find out so much more about anything you care about, right? So, who am I? I'm a doctor of naturopathy, but most of all, I believe in a world where women are cherished and can thrive, because the world needs your light. Yes, your light. You may not believe that your light matters, but it does. It does matter. And I help you discover and live your unique gifts confidently and with pride, because you have your gift that nobody else has. So with over 30 years, I would say, or a little over 30 years of professional expertise as a naturopathic doctor, specializing in women's healthy aging and longevity, and as a lifestyle and relationship coach, I share my heart and my knowledge with my vast personal life experience, because I'm not a spring chicken anymore. 77, can you believe it? So if this sounds good to you, be my guest here every week on this day, Saturday, in this part of the world, at least at 3 o'clock Eastern time. Now, Pacific, that's how it is posted, I think, on Win-Win Women, and that's Pacific time, so it would be at noon, 12 p.m. Pacific time. Okay, so in the last 2 episodes, we talked about clarity and courage. And also in the last one, I went into commitment and almost finished it up, but there was still something left there that I want to talk about. And then if I have time, I will start with the next area of your kind of the different pillars, which is the most important one. Of course, it's your spiritual body, your physical body, and so on. Okay. But now that you know from all of the episodes that you may have experienced and listened to me, if not live, then maybe in the from the archive, you know that happiness is something that does not reside outside of you. Nothing is there that can make you happy. Happiness is your energy. It resides inside of you. So once you really realize this, you also must realize that your commitment must be first and foremost to yourself. Yes, especially in the second part of your life. I mean, this is when I always call it our freedom years, when we don't have all of these pressing jobs anymore, wear all of those hats of maybe being a mother to young children and having our work and the job. So the second part of our life is a little bit different. You come more into the forefront. And so you are called to learn to understand who you truly are. And still, do you know that most women, or too many women, are dissatisfied with their life? because they can't reach their goals and their imagination, even though they may have given up, because they may have tried over and over. And so we already went through this. So we said, first of all, you need clarity, right? And then courage, and then the commitment to yourself. And I stress that commitment is not, very often we say, yeah, I'm committed, but are you really committed? Because commitment that is only halfway there on, or 70%, even 80%, even 90% is not enough. It must be 100% commitment to yourself and your vision for the life that you want to live, to experience. Otherwise, you will struggle with disappointments over and over. So success comes from 100% commitment to yourself. And when it's yourself, that's the goal that you have, right? I mean, your life is your life. It is for you. So this is all about you. So when you take that internal journey, that journey within, you will rediscover your original self. That self, that you, that has always been there, that you have always been, just covered up with layers and layers of outdated identities. And the older you get, the more layers you probably have accumulated, because life adds those layers to you. Your original self has been maybe denied so many times that you forgot who you are, or gave up to even go deeper and discover it. And maybe you have forgotten because you took on all kinds of responsibilities, and so many of the responsibilities we believe we must, or we need to, or we should. The should is really something we must let go of. Most of those responsibilities, or many of them, are false responsibilities. And that's another time when we talk about false responsibilities, even though I have talked about false responsibilities in some earlier episodes. I'm not sure if I have dedicated a whole episode to false responsibilities. I will check. And if I haven't, I will definitely do that. So what about that even thicker layer that accumulated over the decades from conscious and unconscious manipulation by other people and society at large? Yes, they have not just added responsibilities, so-called or uncalled for, really, responsibilities to your life, but they have also made you second guess yourself and not be confident about your life and what is next to you. I mean, life changes so quickly these days, right? And it is constantly changing. It's like dancing, and life dances with you. So you better move with it and change and be in the moment, so that you can adjust and pivot and make different choices. And you can do that at any moment in your life. Do you remember when you were a little child? Maybe you don't even remember how you were as a little child. Let me tell you, you were boundless, unafraid, unapologetic. You were self-absorbed, yes, but you were innocent in all of this. And yes, committed to yourself, to your needs, without shame or a second thought of whether you deserved what you wanted. Isn't that true? Really think about it. Children don't say, I don't deserve that, unless they are indoctrinated by adults, you know, and it probably starts already in their when they are toddlers. And it's so sad. And yet, throughout your entire life, even in your 90s and 100, that inner child lives within you, at all times. And the commitment to your inner child or to your soul self, you know, is really what your soul wants for you. The experience of your soul self expressed through the innocent, boundless, joyful inner child that lives in your adult body. That's what excitement is. That's what joy, and that's when you become a magnet for everything that is in alignment with that. The universe works for you. So according to the frequencies that you give out, according to the mental and joyful, or the opposite, your mental state, the state of your emotions, according to that, your whole being sends out frequencies. It vibrates, it radiates at a certain frequency, and like attracts alike. So if you want more joy, more love, more abundance, more money, whatever you want, better health, more better relationships, it's all there for you. And yet, and I'm really didn't want to go there, and so I come back to what I want to talk to you about, but just to make that point, you must be in resonance with what you want. Otherwise, it just can't be attracted to you. Otherwise, it can't come to you. Does this make sense? And you want to have a commitment to become aware and have the courage to put yourself into that state and then stay committed to it, right? Because when you make the commitment to understand your awesome ability to be at the highest life purpose of your life and attract that to you, you are guided. You are guided by your soul self, but you need to become still and get away from that chatter of the outside world. And your mind, with all its conditioned beliefs that are mostly false. Yeah. And when you are guided and go within and listen to your innermost loving, powerful self, it's the wisest self, it's your soul self. I call it the representation of your soul self. I call the representation of your soul self your inner hero, and the commitment to yourself, heroic self-love. And self-love is not selfish. It is self-affirming. It is self-healing. It is self-acknowledging. So what are you committed to? Are you committed to your core values? Do you even know your core values? Maybe you should check on them and write them down again and think over if they are still valid, or if maybe they shifted a little. Are you committed to your relationship? If you are married, are you committed to your marriage, to your children? I know when they're grown, when they're adults, you must not have that responsibility of being committed to whatever happens in their life, or to guide them, but still they are your children, and you can guide your children without interfering, right? Or make them believe that you know best. You have to let them go also. But what are you committed to? Are you committed to your work? What about your dream? Are you committed to your dream? Have you even created your dream? And again, you need clarity. Those three essential attitudes or awarenesses, which is, clarity, the courage to take inspired action on that clarity, and then the commitment, right? And we are still in commitment right here. Let me share a story with you about commitment. And this is a story that happened quite a while ago, because when I was 42 years old, I dreamed about, I already dreamed about it a year before that. So I must have been 41, because at 42, I realized my dream. So when I was 42 years old, I ran the New York Marathon in under 4 hours. Yes, that's 26.5 miles to the finish line. And I did it in under 4 hours. The second time I ran the New York Marathon, so I ran it in 3 hours and 58 minutes. And never forget, it was May 1994. I started the training in my alarm clock. The training really meant that I needed to get up early in the morning. I mean, I live in the Bahamas, so I would not start training in the heat of the day. So I set my alarm clock I changed it from 7 o'clock in the morning, which is my usual time when I want to wake up. I changed it to 4:45. So that by 5 o'clock I would be out on the road. Something, my nose is itching. Does that mean money is coming my way? I heard this. That may be nice. So my apologies when I touched my nose a couple of times, because it is itching. Okay, so I knew that only my commitment to the strict and precise training schedule, the whole training schedule, how to run a marathon, would prepare me to this big event it was set for November the 4th, 1994. So every morning I felt the temptation to turn over and sleep a little longer, because 4:45 in the morning is not my time to be excited to get out of bed. But still, we are talking about commitment, right? So I dressed in the dark to avoid waking up my husband, because I heard it a couple of times before, and then I didn't want to hear again, Angelika, this is crazy. What are you doing? And why are you doing this? How can I explain what does not make sense to him, right? My husband has no idea why I am so committed to my goal to run the New York Marathon under 4 hours. So he couldn't understand it, but I knew why I must stick to my commitment, so I get the results that I dreamed of. So do you sometimes feel that too, that you have something, you are committed to something which does not make sense to anybody else, to your husband, or anybody who you care about and really want them to support you in your commitment? But it's usually a waste of energy trying to convince that person, because they can feel it. They don't have that inner passion, that inner drive to accomplish what you want to accomplish. So, but back to my running story about commitment. So I used to be a short distance runner before I decided to run a marathon. My friends did not understand why and at that time, as a short distance runner, I would go out in the middle of the day, in the heat of the midday sun, to run, because it was short distances, and that was the best time, because in the morning, I mean, I have a lot of children and a house and a dog and my businesses. So I had to pick a time when it was most convenient, and there was no training like for a marathon training. So I just ran for maybe 45 minutes, rarely for an hour, 35, 45 minutes max. Okay. My friends didn't understand why I did that in the midday heat, but I loved it. I'm a sun-loving child. Heat energizes me, while my body resists getting up to run in the dark and the colder morning hours. If I don't have to do it, which of course my commitment was for the marathon, so I had to do it. So only that strong desire and that commitment to be ready for November 4th eliminated any choice to skip that training, that early morning training. So November 4th arrived, and actually it was 5 o'clock when I had to be out on the road, on the street, to board the bus. There were these huge buses that took us to the destination. The start of the marathon was on Staten Island, across the Veserano Bridge. Yeah, on Staten Island. That's where the marathon starting line was. And I never forget the incredible, that energy that was rushing through me, that excitement and nervousness, but excitement. And then it was getting more and more, and especially seeing all of the other runners and in the bus and the whole atmosphere, at the gathering place across the Veserano Bridge. It was just filling up. There were 28,000 runners coming in that morning. And I remember it was really cold. New York, 4th of November, it was under 50 degrees. I think it was 48 degrees. So my breathing created this white stream of vapor, in front of my, came out of my mouth. Well, I'm not used to those cold temperatures because I live in the Bahamas, right? Where the temperature rarely drops below 70 degrees, even in the wintertime. So the energy and that picture, but also the feeling, the vibration, the whole atmosphere of 28,000 runners getting ready for their big challenge, every one of them, the New York City Marathon. It was the greatest thrill in my life at that point. And I will never forget how I felt when I crossed the finish line. And my watch said 3 hours and 58 minutes. Oh my goodness. I don't recall the seconds, but I know it was 3 hours and 58 minutes. And the official time was, because they have the big clock at the finish line right there, it said 4 hours and 3 minutes. You see, because when 28,000 runners start at the finish line, and it's not, the finish line is maybe 12 feet, maybe 20 feet wide. So it's a big field it's a big field. and I am at the last quarter of that field, far back from the starting line, right? I'm talking about the starting line. Did I say finish line? No. It takes a while to get to the starting line, right? The starting line signal goes off. It's like a pistol, It's like it's a gunshot, really, that goes off, and you don't see anything because you're far, far, far behind. But you heard that, and then the excitement is, and you want to go, and nothing moves, right? All of these people are eager to start running, and nothing moves. Okay, so it's about at least 3 minutes that you are stuck just in the pack of other runners, and nobody moves. In the front, yes. So it's goes slowly, right? I mean, the first row, and then the next row, and it takes a long time. It's almost like when you're at, I go very often to Fort Lauderdale, there are a lot of bridges. So when you're on the road and one of those bridges that the road is over and the canal and a boat with a high mast or so want to cross, they have to lift the bridge up, and then the traffic builds behind you. And depending on how much traffic there is, I mean, it could take a minute or longer, and that's only maybe 40 cars or something like that. But you have 28,000 runners, and you're in the last quarter of the pack. That takes a while, right? So really slowly, maybe another minute, all of a sudden something is moving. So you start walking, and then finally you can start jogging. And then it takes another almost minute until you find enough space, enough opening around you to start your run at your pace. That's why my watch, which I started the moment I crossed the starting line, I set that watch. And then I clocked it when I crossed the finish line, and it was 3 hours and 58 minutes, even though the big clock said 4 hours and 3. But anyway, this is just a commitment that I wanted to share with you. So we don't have time to go into the next theme that I wanted to start today. Got stuck a little bit in my maybe, I don't know where I lost all of this time. Maybe in the story, in the marathon, New York Marathon story. But when I talk about it, I can just feel everything I experienced. And one of the things that was so beautiful also is that for the entire 26 miles, 0.5 miles, except you have to cross the bridge first. And it's very strange when you cross the bridge, and so many runners, you know, give some kind of vibration into the concrete. The bridge, the concrete almost feels as if it gets like rubber, you know, and it feels as if it's swaying a little bit. Very strange feeling. And then as soon as you are on the other side of the bridge, from then on, all the way to Central Park in New York City, Manhattan, you have people all along the roads, and there are bands, and they are celebrating with you. It's an unimaginably exciting event. And if you like running, and if you are, you know, not in your 90s, so if you can still start training for it, I would recommend you run a marathon. I know it's not so great for your physical body, but maybe do it once, because the experience tells you also so much about yourself, because you want to give up so many times, because it hurts at times. It's tough to push through, but you learn what you're made of. Okay, so this is really it for today, and thank you so much for being here. And if you're staying with me for the second 30 minutes, then you can ask me all kinds of questions, and we can go deeper in some of the areas that you are most interested in. Okay, so, but for this episode, I say goodbye, my beloved friends, my beloved beautiful women, and make sure that you come back next Saturday, same time. And don't forget to check out other my episodes in the archives, but also other shows, because there are so many amazing, beautiful shows here that give you so much for free. Okay, bye-bye for now.